Posting links. Evening. Paste that. Anyone watching yet? Not yet. Okay. Oh, hey Sir Kunamet. Alrighty, so let's get started. One of the requests for tonight was for Claire as a Xehanort vessel, so I'm just coming up with a design here. The Claire-Nort thing, Clarinort, I guess? That is actually going to be a comic, but like I said, I want it to I want to have a character design to work from, since this design actually takes up most of the... This is the design she'll have for most of the comic. I mean, spoiler alert, it turns out she's just having a nightmare, and she's not actually been Norted. But even so, I imagine it would be a terrifying experience for her, even in a dream. So, yeah, I'm just drawing her Keyblade. I actually didn't draw her Keyblade this way the first time I ever drew it. The first time I ever drew it was actually the first time I ever even drew this character. Did I did not cross that over correctly. Unless I alter the design to be all evil and stuff. That is also a possibility. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do with her Keyblade having been changed to reflect the fact that Xehanort is now in control here is since she has the sun and moon on there originally, I'm going to have it eclipsed. And I don't know if Dino likes this design. He can always wait, are you guys getting my audio? Hold on. I'm gonna check this. Okay, it is coming through, it's just pretty quiet. Alrighty. Okay, so Aqua, right now I am drawing Claire. I'm drawing a design of Claire for a comic that Dino asked me to draw. And in this comic, Claire has a nightmare that Xehanort takes her over. So I'm just trying to figure out what she would look like in that situation. The other design that I've been procrastinating on is the one for my brother's character, Zodabane. But, honestly, I think Clarinort is a little cooler, at least from a designing perspective. Zodabane, I guess I can talk about him now, but I also kind of wanted to wait to talk about him until I was actually drawing him. So I think I'm just gonna wait to talk about him until I'm drawing him. Okay, so I'm glad you guys like how this design is coming out. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it work. So some things I'm gonna do with Claire's design to really sell the fact that she's not exactly herself right now. Like, in addition to all the other usual telltale signs that someone has been Norded. Let me just merge these layers again, because just to make it work. So I'm actually going to make her kind of pale and desaturated. Kinda lifeless compared to her normal coloring. There we go. And there's her hand holding her keyblade. Again, this isn't so much to come up with a concrete design. It's completely subject to change. But I do think that it would be important to at least come up with a basic idea. And I'm gonna make her shirt this color. And when I go up to layer 1, I'm actually going to mess with the hue a little bit. I'm gonna take the brightness all the way down.
Everybody's looking at the dog. Go, 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 go.
And I'm just gonna refine some of the detail on her face just to make it clear what's what. There we go. So there's that, and now I'm gonna make her hair this very light silver color, because that's one of the telltale symptoms of having been Norded. And I'm also going to shift the background color just to add to the mood of this design. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm really just getting it there. So after I finish coloring in her hair, I'm gonna see what you guys are saying in chat. Hey Julian. Yeah, my roommate was talking in the background a little bit. She's pretty cool. I lucked out pretty well this semester. Alright, so let's color in her jeans. And then we'll color in her boots like this. And like I said, I'm not really too concerned with this. I'm really just getting it set into place. And then the last design element of this keyblade that I'm doing, because it's different from how her normal keyblade is that I've changed her sun and moon to an eclipse. I should probably also give her the telltale golden eyes, which are the exact opposite of her normal purple eyes. There we go. So, yeah, that's Clarinort right now. I'm not up to much today. Okay. So, you guys have a little bit of lag. So now I'm gonna make a new project, and this one's gonna be a comic. I'm gonna do A4 manuscript at 350 DPI, and I'm going to start just thumbnailing what I want to do with this. So I'm thinking we'll start out with an establishing shot of a figure in shadow, maybe in the world that never was, but we've got the group trying to figure out what's going on. So of course we've got, and I'm not sure who's going to be where, but in no particular order we have Anne, Chase, Dylan, Jason, and I'll throw in an Aurora here. And then I think we're going to have her turn around. She's just kind of oozing darkness. And she's gonna say some kind of ominous line there. The speaker from panel 1 is going to react in shock. Be like, no. Where else should I go with this? I'm not sure where else to go with this, so for a second I'm just gonna see what's up with my notifications. If Dino said anything. He hasn't said anything apparently. Maybe I'll hang out in the chat for a little bit. Okay, nothing interesting happening. So I'm gonna keep trying to figure out what to do with this. So I'm just going to have her I'm gonna have her attack the speaker. With her keyblade. This is so badly drawn, but and then I'm going to have her steal the speaker's heart after some dialogue. So dialogue. This is not very well written, but I will be modifying it according to any advice I get during this stream. Nothing new. You guys are still watching me color in Claire's Nort design, if I'm reading this correctly. So you guys don't even know I'm working on a comic as I type this. And I'm gonna squish these panels up a little bit. And I'm just gonna go back to the pose I put her in for her design. Some evil laughing, and then I'm gonna have her wake up. as an adult, and let's see. There's her husband expressing his concern. It's okay. I'm just not exactly sure really what to talk about, because I did not pick too many subjects. And I'm gonna have them hug. And there's gonna be some dialogue. And then they are going to go back to sleep. The end. Okay, so while I wait for your feedback on that, I'm going to open, or I'm gonna start another one. I'm gonna work on Zodabane since I feel like talking about him. So let's see. This character is going to be very, very hard to come up with a design for. Specifically because my brother had this idea that Zodabane is an anybody. Which is what happens when a random Heartless and a random Nobody, who are not of the same person, fuse. And he's just kind of a very neutral character. Because nobody really has any nobody has any particular beefs with him, but nobody's exactly his friend either. So he ended up doing a little stint in Organization 13 because they thought he was another nobody, which, I mean, to an extent he is. I probably should have gotten a reference for the Heartless symbol. But he ended up more or less getting kicked out of the organization because it was very hard for them to find ways to properly motivate him to work actively for their ends. So, yeah, that's this guy. I'll give him kind of a ponytail thing. Hey, Spicy Cup of Tea. Thanks for tuning in. I don't think I've seen you. Thanks for, like I said, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the stream. I've got exactly 30 minutes left before I have to before I have to get going, so hopefully you enjoy whatever I end up doing for the next 30 minutes. I do try to get people engaged in the chat just because it's, I don't know, the idea of live streaming doesn't really make sense to me without audience interaction. Because, I mean, if you're just going to make a video of you talking while drawing, why not just do a speed paint and cut to all the good stuff, you know? So, yeah, let's see where you guys are. You guys are still over there while I'm thumbnailing the comic. Okay. I tend to have major lag issues on these streams. It's nowhere near the real time it promises. So, I'm kind of salty about that. So much salt. So, let's get this guy draw-nified. Whatever. I don't know. I can't draw the Organization 13 uniform. This is probably a concept I will come back to next week. Zodavane, that is, not the speed paint. Oof, these proportions. I didn't make them. Let's make that thinner and squish it some more. So now I'll unsquish him. And we'll set him right there for the time being. And then I'm going to take his head. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to draw his face, but bigger. And he's gonna be kind of deadpan. And he's kind of a tough character to design, mostly because my brother said he was gonna design him, and then he never did. He told me to just make something up, so I'm making something up. Are you happy now? You being my brother, not you as in you guys. And I think I'm gonna give him a little poof of hair like this. There's an ear there. And then he's got a ponytail in the back. So let's see where you guys are. Let's see. Zodavane's original name was just Anybody. So, yeah, there he is. Mr. Evil Overlord. Not really. At best, he's neutral. Oh, hey, Fantasy. Nice to see you. I did some work for your comic idea, and while I was waiting for feedback on it, I was working on my brother's Kingdom Hearts OC Zodavane. Or anybody, as his name was before he became a part of Organization 13. And then he just kind of kept it after he got kicked out of Organization 13 for not doing anything. Because they just couldn't motivate him to do... They couldn't really motivate him enough to work for their purposes. He's very neutral, very deadpan. And he is the product of what happened when a random Heartless and a random Nobody, from two different people, mind you, got reunited. And I don't remember what his weapon was, so I'm just gonna draw kind of the shape I think it was. It wasn't a scythe, but it might have... It was some kind of polearm, I'll give it that. He also kept the uniform. Because, I mean, it's hard to motivate this guy to do anything. So, yeah, let's go back to Clarinort and the comic. I did a couple of standard things to Claire's design to make it evident that she's been Norded. Here, I also loosened her braids to allow for some stray hairs to fly away. I made her skin tone paler and desaturated to kind of create a mildly dead look. I gave her the telltale yellow eyes, but I also made some changes to her design. I roughed her clothing up a little bit, and her keyblade I changed from a sun and moon balanced to an eclipse. So yeah, that's what I have for her Norded design. I'm glad to hear you're good, Fantasy, that you're doing well. I'm not sure how far behind the lag is, but... So, I hope you like this design. If you want me to change it, I'm perfectly fine with changing it, because it's just a concept. Here's the thumbnailing for the comic. This first one starts off with the group being like, "Claire, no!" And then she turns around, says something ominous. The guy who is all like, "Claire, no!" is like, "No!" And then she attacks him. There's some dialogue. She steals that heart. There's some evil laughter. She wakes up, no longer a teenager. She's grown up in this ending that I've written, but I can always change this because it's just the thumbnail stage. So she wakes up and her husband is like, "What's wrong?" And they hug, and then they go back to sleep. I don't think you really missed anything important, Sir Kunamet. I'm glad you like how it looks, that it conveys the darkness and stuff. Okay, I will keep the adult angle in the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my panels. So layer, add panel material. Okay. And so I just use this tool here, and I make my horizontal divides first because they're the easiest ones to make. Then I'm going to add my vertical divides here. Now I had to do this vertical divide before I could do this horizontal divide, because if I don't cut through the entire panel, it doesn't do the thing. So I'm just going to add this horizontal divide right here, and then this vertical divide. And for visual interest purposes, I decided to do 2 vertical divides instead of just 1. So now if we hide that, we have our panels. I think it looks alright. What do you guys think? I'm glad you guys like it so far. Alright, so now that we've got that, we can start doing a slightly refined sketch just to get some more features in there. So here I'm going to actually draw her. And I'm going out of panel just a little bit to make sure the anatomy makes sense. Because sometimes, like, I'm never really good at picking up on it, but I don't really like, but I think, I don't really want my art to be the kind where, somebody can pick up on, just on the anatomy being really, really wonky because it's near the edge of the panel. So I am perfectly okay going over the edge of the panel to make this stick. I think I can lower her ear a little bit. And this isn't really going to be visible because I'm going to well, you'll see in the speed paint. Okay, so, who should be who? Because I know that I'm going to, let me actually ask this in the chat. I'm also going to apologize for my off punctuation. somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, my keyboard got switched to Spanish, even though it's an English keyboard on an English laptop, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print out a Spanish language keyboard guide, and what's the word? Specifically, I'm gonna print out a Spanish language keyboard guide and tape it down onto my keys. Let's do an ellipse here. This is going to be on another layer that I'm going to call speech bubbles. Yeah, like, I mean, all of them could be thematically appropriate in their own way. So I'm going to fill this in, and then I'm going to select, contract 5 pixels. I'm going to contract it another 5 pixels. Okay, maybe not that much. Okay, maybe 5 pixels is fine. Deselect. And I'm going to move the panels and the speech bubbles into what I'm going to call the polish folder. Save. Then I'm going to call this one the sketch folder. And I'm just going to move it down. And I don't really have any particular reason to do this aside from I want to keep things organized. Yeah, what order should her friends be in as they try to prevent her from being Xehanort's puppet? Um, I'm sorry for kind of not being particularly engaging at the moment. I'm just trying to figure out what angle I wanted to go with this one. Alright, so going back up to this, we've got let's just wait for a response. It's okay. I'm gonna be tuning off, or I'm gonna be signing off in about 10 minutes too. It's fine. Well, I do know that this is gonna be Dylan and Aurora, so let's draw in Dylan. He's this face. I'll have to fix it later. I'll do comedic faces for now. Thanks, Sir Kunamet. I'm just gonna draw as much as I can here. And then here we've got Aurora. Alright, so there's Dylan. Aurora. Let's see, we've got Anne, I think I can put here. Now all I have to do is figure out who's Jason and who's Dylan. Okay, I'm gonna at you if I can find the button. Because, as I said earlier, my keyboard got switched somehow to Spanish, and even though I've worked with a Spanish keyboard before, which one's the at? I can't find the at. Okay, let me at symbol. Copy. Paste. There we go. I hope you're still watching. Thanks. Alrighty. There's this. Oh, and it is 7 o'clock, so I have a class in like 40 minutes, so I need to sign off now. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!